Hello. My name is Rokas. So this was my track I made for loopop contest. So first things first, these are the samples I used. This is where I got the idea from. This is the first sound I started to work with. Some hiss, the vocals, and synth. These sounds I really liked because they give like a really creepy vibe, you know. So these ones I really liked. Then the drums, a deep punch kick with a rim shot. I used it for a snare drum, or like to accentuate the snare drum. Then this sound, some white clicky noise. Again, more drums. And this is all the sounds that I used for this track. So the bass line. This is the first sound that we heard. So I put some compression to even out the levels a little bit more, so it would sound not like a loop, like a continuous sound, and that's it. Because if you put it without, it sounds like. Yeah, so this and put some EQ. Then the bass line here, I put it like the first sound is a little bit quieter, then the second is a little bit louder. So you get with saturation this kind of pumping sound. Yeah, you can hear that. So yeah. And I used this tom sound for the bass line. I wanted a sine wave bass. And then the second sound is this one here. So without the, so I pitched it down. I put an saturator, an EQ. The interesting part is the spectral resonator. It makes like a robotic sound. Then I EQ'd it again, removed some some resonance. You can hear it here, and put a filter on it so it would fluctuate in a sine wave randomly. And the last bass part is this one. This is the this is the sound. So just some compression, side chain compression, EQ. So, and without a filter. Then put a filter on, a filter envelope. You get like this. Saturation to get that bite. Removed some of the low frequencies so it wouldn't clash with the bassline, and a sidechain. Then the drums. So as I said, I used the rim shot as a snare with some reverb. I really like the soft tube reverb. I got it for free with sound card that I bought some time ago, and I really like the dark color preset. So I use this one. Then the kick drum, I didn't process it a lot. I put some saturation on and EQ'd a little bit the clickiness here and a little bit of the low end, and that's it. So it's like this. Yeah, so then it gets like a little bit more movement in the middle part of the song. So this is the sound like for the, oh yeah, and like the kick drum sounds along like this. Drum shot here like this. Then the white noise part, this sound. So interesting thing about this is I used a delay to make it robotic, so it sounds along like this. Then you put a delay, a really short delay with some feedback, and you get like a robotic sound. Then it's because of its mono, I wanted to have it a little bit more stereo space, so I put a free plugin that is called Tal Horus LX. A little bit of what, and the first, it's a Juno 60 chorus emulator, so I put it here to have a little bit more stereo sound and some reverb. Again, the soft tube reverb Tsar with a little bit of wet mix and short reverb time, and you get like this sound. Then the hi-hat, it's pretty simple. Some EQ for the low end, a little bit high shelf, and yeah. What I did with this one, oh, and I put a delay to have it a little bit more movement. And this sound, I like to do chaotic sounds, like they move randomly around the space, so I put a random pan 30% here, so if you can hear it, it goes randomly in the stereo space. So these are the drums. I put a glue compressor to glue them. Then the effects. This is some sound that you recorded, that loopop recorded. So this is the sound. I pitched it to the key of the track. And put a auto filter with an LFO, so it's with a little bit jitter, so it's like I'm a little bit more human. Then the zaps planktons, the white noise clicks. Yeah, so with I used a preset from Ableton. They have like this kind of weird space and these textures, so yeah. And then some like crash sounds, and then this sound, this one, yeah, I used it as a filler bass, you know, so it's like stretched out, shortened, and you get like, and you pitch it like here I pitched it 8 semitones and warped it to sound a little bit more like I wanted to. Then yeah, and I put a delay again on it. It's pretty simple delay. Then the next effect sound is the hiss, just for some like analog sounding white noise. So I put a echo noise, but it's a little bit darker sounding noise, so this hiss is a little bit higher, so a little bit higher in the frequency, so it gives that kind of vibe. Then I really like these sounds, as I said earlier, so I put a sequence from this So it's like, first is like this normal, but then you get like this kind of sequence. It gave me like an eerie vibe. So yeah, I put a reverb here, stock Ableton reverb. Then here I put a tube delay that I got for free again with the hardware I bought from earlier days. So it's a tube delay. It gets that like really bright delay effect. And the last one is a pitched up sound with some low cut. And I put on like one to the left, more to the left, and the other sound to the right, and you get like a bouncing sound. And then we get the ear candy. So it's just synths randomly put into the sounds, like the choir sound. There's the choir sound. Yeah, so just like a lot of reverb. As you can see, I use the Tsar reverb a lot. Without anything, it sounds like this. Then you put a filter to darken it a little bit. Then I wanted to use it as a plug, but I left the compressor here in an expand mode, so it could, yeah, it could make a little bit punchier. Then I use a cool trick with the delay to make it a little bit more stereo, not like a chorus effect, but with delay. So you have to use under 40 milliseconds of time, and you have to do it differently. So here is like 1.39 milliseconds, and here is like 15.2. So you get a delay, like a stereo widening effect with and without. So and the reverb. Then some synths again. This is the synth, and I put it like here. I put, again, some stereo widening, filter, and a EQ. We can hear it, like how it sounds without, and you get a bit more. Yeah. And the last one is this. So this is the sound. Original Tal chorus, Juno emulation, EQ, and it sounds this. Then some filter for the harsh top end chorus. It makes it really big. Some low cut and high frequencies shelf, and put some delay, reverb, and delay against to have it a little bit different than other sounds. And then we get the vocals. Like it's a synth, but I used a really like just this short spectrum of frequencies, because it's like between 1 and 3,000 kilohertz. It's where you can distinguishedly hear clearly hear the vocals. So I really wanted the vocals for some ambience, so I used it here. So put a cut like this, then the reverb, and a filter for later stages. So, and I pitched it down. This is the original sound. And here you don't hear that synth so much. And basically that's the whole track. Oh, and I forgot about this sound. Yeah, so this is his. It's in low pass now. But so yeah. this is how it sounds, and then it gets like really crazy textures here when the filter opens up, like this quacking sounds, but it's kind of dark and like in the eerie sound space. So this is the sound I used. So like this is how it sounds without the filter or anything. So it's like, damn. So basically this is the last sound. I use this one, and this is how it sounds without any effects. Then I put a filter on, so it's got like a quacky quack 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 sound. I really like the beginning of the sound. And then you get like here the filter opening up. So if you put a pedal on it, you get like really these interesting harmonics. In the beginning it's normal distortion. Then here you get like with the harmonics of distortion, and then when the filters opens up, you get a little bit more interesting. It's like an FM sounding arpeggiator, and I put an EQ and reverb on the top, and that's it. And then you get like, and then the master is basically like some saturation, compression to glue everything up, a limiter to boost a little bit things, mid-side mid-side EQ, some stereo widening EQ, like the left and the right side, and 2 limiters in the end. I heard a trick from a fellow producer that you can put 2 limiters in the end with less of compression, and you get a good amount of loudness, but also not so much of compression. If it would be a one, like if it would be a 1 limiter pushing it hard, so you make 2 limiters pushing it way much less in the gain reduction. Sorry. So yeah, this is how I made the sound, this track.